one big step, small step for mankind, right, into the light. These have been instructions from the production team, and actually I wanted to be an example of what I am going to introduce you to today. Making a step into the light, out of the crowd, and become visible. So this is the main topic of my presentation today. Step out of the crowd. Step out of the dark, become visible. Either you are the one who wants to become a part of the community, the part of something bigger, or you are on the side of the organization and you want to help people to become a part of the community and deliver great products and great visions. Hello, zdravstvujte, dobrý deň, and dobrý deň. I hope I have managed to cover most of the languages that I might have been speaking in this room today. Language is my passion, and as Pavla mentioned, being born in Ukraine, living for several years in Slovakia, and now moving here to Czech Republic, I actually feel more like a Slavic woman. So I don't identify myself as Slovak or any other nation. But actually, language, your cultural background, your nationality is what makes you special. Embrace that. But at the same time, even though it makes you an individual and a special, it leads you to be part of the community. Use that as well. Work as a community and get stronger. And this is actually what we are doing in Moravia, and what I see as my own goal to help people out there in the ground looking for the opportunities, embracing these opportunities. Before I start talking about how to build a community out of the crowd, I would like to mention what we are doing in Moravia. What is localization? And very simple answer, why I love doing my job, which is extremely important. Maybe some of you will understand what localization is. But very simply said, it's a transfer of the product, of the brand, from one original country and language and culture into different languages and cultures. What I really appreciate, and I'm extremely passionate about, that our company grew from a small translation agency into one of the top 5 leaders in the industry of globalization and localization. And what I am excited more even about, that our company helps not only delivering the brands and the products around the world, but also helps to spread the education by localizing products, educational products, into more than 200, nowadays it's more even than 300 languages around the world. So the people in the third countries have the possibility to get to educational programs, informations, and learn more. We help giving the same possibility to all the people. We are providing our services on various vertical markets and mainly working with the IT. And this is one of the reasons why we are spreading the word about the localization. So, why community and crowdsourcing? I still remember just a few years ago being a student, a graduate, standing somewhere in the crowd, in the dark, thinking to myself, and what now? Are there any students who are thinking right now something like that, what to do now, what should I do? Maybe some of you, I hopefully came today here to see what opportunities out there are for you. Are there any students? Great, so please do see every challenge as an opportunity. Don't be afraid to step out. And I believe there are a lot of companies that will give you these opportunities. So, at the very beginning, like it's teach in the school, let's explain the terms. Crowd, community, networking. So first of all, at the very beginning, there is an organization. every organization, every group has its own community. Those are employees, friends of the employees, fans of the fan page, let's say on Facebook. This is the community of the company. But if the company is looking out there for the new resources, one needs to reach out to the people they do not know, and that's the crowd. It's a blurred group of people who have talent and who might become the future community. For these, while building the community, you need to use your original community, their network, which are actually every member of the community, current community, is a part of other communities, either through the hobbies, families, interests. And if you are lucky enough to send a compelling message that will reach out a crowd, then you might find the right people to come to you and to be interested in your projects. And that's what we are doing in our company. We are looking into non-tech crowds of non-tech people, non-tech women, whomever who is interested to become a part of tech projects. Why not? Many of you have talents. Even though you do not think you have tech powers, abilities, you might find out that you have skills for that. So, who might be in the crowd? Whoever, you are the crowd right now. But at the same time, you are potentially the future resource. You are potentially future member of the community, as long as you are interested what we are selling, what we are giving you, what opportunities. For example, I must say, from my point of view, those are students, teachers, even mothers on the maternity leave. So, once they receive the message from you and are interested in your project, by giving the people in the crowd a chance, they will become the community members. However, there are a few steps before starting managing the community building. Like the Andrea before me said, the management, the planning before that is extremely important. And that's for every project, doesn't matter which. And it's extremely important to bust few myths if you want to start building a community. First thing is that crowdsourcing as such is very often interchangeably used as a synonym for the cheap work. That's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. As long as you think that you are receiving cheap work or even some projects for free, you might be receiving really bad quality. But that doesn't matter that people performing the work are bad. You just haven't gave them enough instructions, guidelines, and reasons. And this is actually the second point, to understand that crowd is not a community. A lot of time and money investment, support investment, is needed before the community is built out of the crowd. First of all, it's about recruiting, which I will be talking later about. Of course, enthusiasm is great. From my own experience, I saw the people from the crowd, let's say doctors, lawyers, students once again, who had enough enthusiasm to become translators. They haven't done such projects any before, but they are interested in the linguistics. Enthusiasm is great. It's what drives you. However, as a project manager, as an organization, you need to give your community purpose, guidelines, even rules. Giving rules and the thresholds, quality thresholds, will reassure that actually you will be getting really good quality from your project, from your community. And one last thing to remember, and cover last myth is, there is no such thing like a free meal, right? Nothing is for free. So even people in the crowds working on open source projects are getting something. In some projects, it might be a monetary value, but most often it's knowledge. You are getting the knowledge, you are getting the experience, And that's what's important. Even, I know I'm still taking my examples with the students, but I do understand the students. Me personally, cooperating on translation projects, I gained a lot of knowledge, experience, skills, but besides that, I got official acknowledgement because I needed that paper to get passed to the final exams. Why not? This is one more thing that someone may gain from cooperating on the projects. And as long as you wish to build a community and understand all these myths and are still willing to proceed, I believe that you will be successful. Of course, there is still a long way to go. For every building that is staying on some basis, some keys are important, or let's call them pillars, to make it stable. In case of building the community, those are technologies, community recruitment, and most of all, people. When I'm talking about the technology, it's not only about the managing platforms for the project handoff and handback. It's not only for the managing the financials, but it's extremely important to give the community a home. Here we can also list a channel, communication channel for the community, through which you as an organization are able to send the notifications, instructions, informations, chat with the people, give them purpose, manage this community, but the most important thing here is feedback. Do expect feedback from your community. Do want feedback from your community, because this is what drives you further and to the progress. You need to listen to those voices. Another important thing is community recruitment, which is extremely, really basic thing at the very beginning, at the project management and planning. While recruiting people into the community from the crowd, you need to define what kind of model you want to apply here. Are you looking for pure professionals, directly for the linguist with an experience? Or you are giving the opportunity and chance to the people out there in the crowd who might have even bigger potential than professionals? Give them a chance, why not? And the very last thing that I believe might be even in the very middle of this slide are people. All is starting with your team members gathering in the meeting room and brainstorming about the future project. Here it's extremely important to get in line with your colleagues and to draft your ideas, to have an empathy and understand each other. Then, there, of course, for the future management of the community, support is needed. Either it's the support of the engineers who are supporting the tools, platforms, as well as of linguists, for example, when we are talking about the localization. And at the very end, then there is a community. Community needs leaders. For example, when we are talking about linguistics, it's extremely really good and vital if a group of people speaking same languages, working on same language projects, have a leader, a moderator, who will explain the project to them, who will be trying to learn more and share the information with these people. So let's build on these 3 pillars. And of course, every coin has 2 sides, right? And there might be a reason why you want to build a community. It won't apply for every project. But in case you need a highly scalable solution of the resources, the workforce which is instantly available for you, and you want to decide how many resources or how maximum resources you need for your project, then you might start thinking about the community. Or, even most important thing is, you have short turnaround time. Are you working on the projects when you need to deliver quickly? the community might be a solution. Actually, working in the localization business in Moravia, over 80% of the crowdsourced projects are delivered within 24 hours. Just imagine, really, thousands of words translated within a day, all around the world. We have this 24/7 model, and this is what community and crowdsourcing is about. And there are some, of course, disadvantages. Even it seems that there are more disadvantages than advantages. Every project is specific and needs to see how many advantages in sense of cost might prevail. And if you realize that it's step to go for you, then you are for the community. So what are disadvantages? Of course, the very initial investigation is time and money for creating the community itself and to managing it further. And of course, you also need to remember that the community are still not professionals. So in case you do not have available resource for the specific country, language, project, then the professional needs to step in. So this is another platform that still needs to be managed in parallel. And before I skip to Q&A session, I would like to mention how I find myself as a non-tech person in this project of creating tech community. First of all, I'm lucky enough that I'm a pretty communicative person, and I got to employ my skill of being communicative, of being talkative, and being willing to listen to the people out there and understand what they are saying. This is extremely important. At the very beginning, with communication with your clients and with your colleagues, to the very end, when you are out there on the forums and trying to find some kind of arrangements and agreements with the community members, trying to lead them to the progress. I'm also grateful enough to be part of this project because I realized that I learned a lot of things. And one extremely important for me was to learn how to build a community home. A simple page with a forum is enough for the beginning to give people the common purpose, to get to know each other, to being able to express their own feelings and ideas. And at the very end, I still realized there is a long way before me to go, as every business localization is also extremely data-driven. So what I still believe I need to learn is what kind of data is important for our project, how to record this kind of data, how to read it, analyze it, and after all, how to act on the results of the analysis. Because the results, the feedback, is what we need to move on. And at the same time, time is money, and we need to do it quickly. The learning curve for every community needs to be really steep. We need to move on, and if you are building the community for the purpose of shortening the turnaround times of your project, this needs to be done extremely quickly as well. And few last words from me. Before I end up with the Q&A session, I know that this is not a beauty contest, and this is not about thanking to everyone, to mom, to the family, but I really would like to thank 3 wonderful women. Since we are on the forum, Women in Tech, I would like to mention my colleague, Katarzyna Gaszova, who actually stands at the very beginning of our company, and she presented the ideas of the crowdsourcing and community long before it got any solid shapes. Also, I would like to thank and mention my group manager, Mariana Papcun, who is a wonderful woman, speaking 11 languages, just really amazing mother. And thanks to her support, I'm here today. And very last but not least, I would like to mention my colleague, Gabriela Borutova, who arranged this opportunity for me to step out and to be an example, really to catch the opportunity and go out there. I'm extremely humbled to say on this very same stage that so many amazing speakers before me came to, and so many amazing speakers came after me. And I would like to thank mainly you, the audience, and so mainly for being patient with me. And now it's time for Q&A, right? And I would like just tell you that since this is something new, the Q&A doesn't mean that you're giving only the questions and I'm giving the answers. Do you have the answers? Give them to me. I would be glad to hear them from you.
That was Mariana.